listening would therefore be equivalent to eating. And in eating good fruit, one receives good health. In listening to fruitful words, one must then receive a fruitful and favored life. If through application my words are found true and unwavering, then it is no mystery I am who I say I am. If you can tell a tree by the fruit it bears, then you can tell a spirit by the words they speak. Listen discerningly, eat wisely. Thank the Creator for mercy. Thank the Creator for me. Thank you guys. That's just my introduction to you all, because anytime I hit the mic, I want to make sure that I am in truth. You know, and if for any moment that anybody sees me and they have tested my words and it has been found untrue, I need you to let me know, because then I am not who I say that I am. So I praise God for the ability to speak to you all tonight. The piece I'm going to share with you all is a piece that I wrote in 2012, before Trayvon Martin, but it was a piece I wrote about myself. And it was in response to police brutality, as we are discussing today, because I was a victim of it in 2012, 2 white male officers. And thank God for the relationships that we have, because it is through those relationships that I was able to get through and out of that situation. For almost 2.5 days, and when I mean they beat me, I kind of got beat too. Like, I know how the brothers be feeling. You know, don't get the pretty face twisted. You know what I mean? They do it to us out here too. You feel what I'm saying? They will do it to us. So sisters, we have to unite. We have to stick together, because we are on the front lines as well. You know, but the reason why it happened was because I was speaking out for truth. Because our youth do not know their rights. You know, and I watched an unmarked car come up to some of my young brothers and attempt to take them somewhere. And at the end of the day, you're not supposed to go. You're not supposed to go. But out of fear, they were moving. You understand? And I was like, listen, they do not have to go with you. I was telling them to stop. But fear, now you're a conflict of interest. So, of course, I got made an example of. I won't go into detail. You know, I'll spare you guys the details. But fingers swollen, just a lot of different things happened to me. 2.5 to 3 days, and they lied. Of course, that's what they do. So while they were saying I was in bookings, I was in the precinct. They said I was in the precinct, I was in bookings. You know, just trying to get their story right, because they had no story. You know, so relationships, going back to relationships, the state senator at the time, Eric Adams, I used to intern for his office, he ended up coming down. Like, the calls were just going crazy. You know, finally it came down to the book. I mean, they let me go immediately. Michael Warren ended up being my lawyer. Just a whole, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys know Michael Warren, but just write down that name. You know, like, this was real. You know what I mean? And I was mad at God for a very long time because of this, because I didn't understand. You know, I didn't understand. I did not understand at all. I was just like, why is this happening? And it's one thing for you to see it happening to others, to see it happening to Eric Gardner, to see it happening to Mike Brown, to see it happen. You read the stories, but when you go through it, even when we read about Christ, you read about it. But when you actually are going through that, and they beat you as a woman, what do we do? What do we do? I simply am still asking God, if there's a season for everything, then when will evil cease to be? That's what I've been asking God. So without further ado, guys, the poem that I'm going to say to you all is, I have a question. I have a question. When did color begin to determine the purpose of one's life? Was it 1619, the dissipation of the Ice Age, the formation of the Indian caste? Or was it when God said, let us create mankind in our image and likeness? When did color begin to determine the purpose of one's life? I want to know. Why less color, no color equals power, royalty, most importantly, favor? Why more color, all color equals labor, poverty, slavery, no favor? Policies, propaganda, affirmative action. Who, what, where, why, how? Black, white, red, green, yellow. I mean, exactly when did color begin to determine the purpose of one's life? They tell me, don't worry about color, just be. There's no need to be the black voice, just be. But in reality, people will see my color before me. They will even hear my voice before they meet me. Yes, they will even hear my voice before they meet me. Assuming they know what's inside, I'll have to defend a false prophecy their minds have previously been trained to see. Forgetting what they see is just a uniform of something more holy. Holy with a W, not an H. The alteration of language is the first misconception one must erase. I understand poems like this don't get the best reviews, but I also understand the revolution won't be televised, so it's my duty to bring the news from an insider's point of view.
Wow.
Look into the streets, the images on TV, and tell me again why I don't need to be the black voice of black babies lost in transition. And I'll ask you again, when did color begin to determine the purpose of one's life? Was it 1619, the dissipation of the Ice Age, the formation of the Indian caste? Or was it when God said, let us create mankind in our image and likeness? When? And if art imitates life, why are we pretending that life is something it isn't? Black minds are constantly thought to think neutral. But there's a problem when we can't even learn due to an overcrowdedness of pupils. Lying only to themselves. I'm still waiting for the day when all state employees don't use excessive force to communicate with me. Parts of the whole, see, even when it happens indirectly, it still affects the entire race of humanity. Dumbing down entertainment just to get us to listen. How many folks know that blacks are the #1 consumers of self-mutilating products? Mutilating self, we are now mere products, developed to be robotized. Do as I say, not as I do. I'm still waiting on the day when Martin's dream will really come true. Tubman said, I freed 1,000 slaves, and I would have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. So when did color begin to determine the purpose of one's life? A lie will travel the world faster than a truth, getting ready to put on its shoes. And I am tired of defending something I literally did not choose. I was born this way, in this frame, with this voice, with these looks. So tell me exactly when did my life be determined by the color of my skin?
Yeah.